Hello, I wanted to show you this box I finished up. Now we talked about this before, about this 3D printed control box. And I had, this houses the shield and the Arduino, or the display. And this one here houses the motor controller, which is new. And this thing in the back, that's just a cover, and I got a hole in it for a fan. I got a little 5-volt fan that goes in there. Now this, what I made this out of was that what was it, 2.5 inch aluminum angle. Yeah, I think it was, well, I cut it. See, I got a cut line in here. Yeah, I think it was 2.5 inch aluminum angle. And what I did was I just arbitrarily made an angle here, and I just cut it here on both sides. You know, one side is just mirrored on the other side. Then I figured out the distance I need between here, and I just took this on a bandsaw and cut it. I mean, it's not welded or anything. It's just bolted together, and I'll take it apart and show you what I got going on here. So let me, I'll go ahead and take this apart. Now I might get this welded, I haven't decided yet. But the bolts, when you bolt it onto here, it's going to hold it in place. I don't know if you can see that in there. But there's 4 holes in there. And I got one insert in there. I bought 3 more at Ace Hardware. But let me show you what I got going on here. Now this piece, when I put these holes in here, I took the distance from this edge. Now this plate, I think, was 1/2 inch. So on this piece, this angled piece, I hit off the edge because it's, you know, it's a little wavy. It's not flat. You know, I think I went in like 230. And then when I put the holes in this 1/2 inch plate, I went in 250, so that this bottom piece is up, so that this piece on the bottom here will sit flat, and this piece that I cut, so you can see, is just a saw cut, and I just hit it on the sander. So I wanted to make sure that this piece on the side was higher than this piece here. Now this is just a mount for this. You could make anything, but this is what I just happened to come up with what material I had. And I put a little hole, a little half hole in the front, so when it's on the table, I could put a little stud in the table, you know, a little T-nut, and put a little bolt on there to keep this thing from moving around. So I got the 4 holes in here, and I only got one of them with the insert in it. I got the other 3. But I don't seem to have the wrench for that right now. But yeah, this is 3 inches wide. Then it's, you know, whatever length you want to make it. This one happens to be 5 inches. But right here, now originally I had this plate in there, and I had a wall here. Then I had to dig underneath the wall to remove all that material. So then I thought, well, I'll just put a plate there, because the first one was just solid. And I thought, well, I'll just put a plate there so I can leave that open so that the printer prints it open. I don't have to remove any material. And that seemed to work out pretty good. But then I thought, well, you know, I gotta, you know, when you put the wires in here, you gotta feed them in there, and then you gotta feed them out there, and this and that. And I thought, well, if I had this open, I could just pre-assemble all the wires and then just put them in there. So that's what I did. So if I remove this, it's like a cover plate slash part of this body. You see it right there. So that leaves that open. When I take this apart, so this piece in the center, when I put the hole in there, I got it tapped on both sides, from here and here and from there to there, on all 4 holes. So I could just drill these out and then just put these bolts in. So that's just the cover plate. That's the motor controller. And then this piece comes off. This is that one where I tried to put the lettering up here and it didn't quite work out. But it's good enough. You know, I'm just testing this thing out to make sure everything fits. You know, all the buttons and everything, they all work. So that worked out real good. Yeah, I almost got it on the first try when I printed that, but I had to make 2 of them. So that just comes apart. So that way you can put all your wires in here and just lay everything in there, and then you just bolt this cover on there and you're all done. You don't have to feed the wires through there and put them through here and then solder them and bring them. You could do everything outside the box and then put it inside the box and you're finished. So you could run it without the motor controller by just putting the cover on the back end, or you can run it with a motor controller. So what I do is I put a hole here for an insert, and I put two here, and they line up with this one in the back. But anyway, you've seen this piece before. But you haven't seen this piece before. Let me see if I can find a wrench to get this off. Found one. I used just a pan head here. That way I don't have to put a washer on it. Yeah, this is the piece I was talking about before making. This is the one where I says, yeah, you know, it wasn't worth making on the machine because you have to hollow so much of it out. But it's there was no filler material in here. This is how I printed it. This is the bottom. I got this angle on here so that the printer can ride up that angle and make those flats for where the board mounts onto. And originally I had a piece going across here, and then I had to hollow it out for these little solder joints that are in there. And I said, well, I can just cut that piece out of the middle, and these pieces on the end, these four pieces, was strong enough to hold that easily. So that's what I did. I just made it like this. Then when it's upside down like this, you can attach your wires to it, so it makes it really easy to adapt to this. Because originally the My Ford Boy, he had that box. You had to drill the holes and put the push buttons in it and cut out for the screen and make the little step things for the motor controller, little spacers. Then you had to solder all those wires on the buttons and solder the wires on here that I did on one of my videos, early videos. But now by just using these buttons on the front, you don't have to do any of that. It makes it really go quick. And it's the same thing as installing all those buttons, which, you know, in the early days, that was how we did it. But now that we have the 3D printer and we can modernize it a little bit. But remember, I talked about this one piece before, this one fin, cooling fin. They have to cut it, and that's what I did. So this one cooling fin was on the end of here. it went on there like that, and the first time I did this, I had to cut it on the other box, and I stood this up in the milling machine. And I just trimmed it and this and that, and I mean, it took a long time. So this time I just cut it on a bandsaw. Bandsaw is your friend. It can save you a lot of time. So I just cut it on the bandsaw. I just put the blade between the fin on the end, which is this one, and I just ran it through there, just cut it, and then I just filed it, put a little radius on it, and I mean, it was like 10 minutes, you're done easily. So this worked out good. Printed this box, just tapped the holes through there. They're I think they were 440. Maybe they're 632. I'm not sure. Probably 632. Yeah, they look a little big for 440. But yeah, whatever the size of the hole was that is in this motor controller. But yeah, that worked out real good. Print this out, and I could have printed this out, but you know, at the time I just made it. Actually, I had the new guy make it. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take much to print this out. But anyway, yeah, that's the whole deal right there. So that works out real good. And then, like I said before, you know, you just make whatever kind of mount you want for it. I just happen to make this one. So that just goes on there like that. That just goes on there like that. Just bolt it in the sides and it'll stay together. Bolt it up here, it stays together. I mean, you know, whether or not, you know, you wanted to, I mean, I could have probably had that laser cut and bent and this and that, but you know, how much money do you want to spend on just a little mount, you know? So I got it sticking out there just a little bit so you can put a stud in the table to keep this thing from falling or moving around. And it works out real nice because you can just, it's right there, you can just push the buttons. So overall, I mean, it's a winner. Yeah, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start on my, I know it's been months I talked about it, but the brake system for the 0 to 90 degree rotation, and I actually put this together. I put the O-rings in it. I did one of them. I still got to do the other one. But you know, I wanted to start somewhere, so I put one together, and I shot some air through it. Well, I started with 20 pounds, and it pulled it down pretty good. I got up to 40 pounds, and it held it down there, and I couldn't even pull it apart. I tried. But I was concerned about this area back here, and I had an O-ring for that. I bought this little one here that would go back there, but I didn't put it in because I thought, well, you know, maybe I'll put some sealant or something on there. But you know, I'm just in the testing stage right now, and I don't want to put sealant on there because, when I have to take this apart, then I got to take the sealant off and peel it off and this and that. So it leaked a little bit. I expected that, but I mean, the object is to you know, make sure this thing works. So, and it did. I was surprised. Didn't have any leaks except for that one little leak right there. But I mean, I can make an oversized block and mount the O-ring in there, or make a bigger piece of aluminum and mount the O-ring on the front of it. I mean, there's quite a few options, but I'm not going to worry about it now. So my next step is to put the other one together and then mount it on the unit and see if I can't get it to work. Now I got these little countersunk holes in here for the little rubber piece that goes in there. So it's going to take 4 on each side, plus the fact there's 4 here too. And that's for each one. There's 2 of these. So I might have to order some more of these rubber pieces. I got quite a few. Well, maybe I'll just put in 1 or 2 on each one just to see how it works. But when I first did this, I made it for 4 on each side because I wanted it to grip really good. So yeah, I'll put that in there and start playing with that. So that's about what I've been up to. Yeah, this worked out real good. Nice and clean. I don't remember how long it took. I think it was like 4 or 5 hours. But I changed the infill in here. I changed it to like a really coarse infill because there's no pressure on this thing. It doesn't do anything but hold this motor controller and whatever wires are attached to it. So it didn't have to be super strong. All right. So that's some good news. All right. Talk to you later.